Hi, I'm Mrs. Griffin, and in this lesson we're going to talk about solving equations and inequalities. Let's go over the steps that we need to take to solve an equation or inequality. Your first step is to simplify each side of the equation or inequality. That would include using the distributive property or combining like terms. Let's take a look at both of those. Here we would use the distributive property, 2 times the quantity x plus 3. We distribute our 2 across each number in the parentheses, and we multiply 2 times x and add it to 2 times 3. Simplifying that gives us 2x plus 2 times 3, which is 6. So we would start by using the distributive property and then seeing if we can combine like terms. Like terms are numbers with these same variables, like 2a and 3a. We can combine those by adding their coefficients. 2 plus 3 times a. So 2a plus 3a is 5a. 4 and 3 are also like terms since they're just integers. So 4 plus 3 is 7. So we've simplified these two. Once you've simplified each side of the equation or inequality, your next step is to move the variables to one side. If you had something like 6m is equal to 5 plus 2m, we need to put our variables on only one side. We could do that by subtracting our smaller one. That would give us 6m minus 2m, which is 4m, and that's equal to 5. So we can either add or subtract our smaller variable. Next, you would then use inverse operations to undo adding and subtracting. If our equation looked like this, 2x plus 4 equals 8, we can subtract 4 from each side, leaving us with 2x equals 8 minus 4, which is 4. And our final step would be to use inverse operations to undo any multiplying and dividing. For example, if we had 8x equal to 16, we would divide both sides by 8, leaving us with x equals 16 divided by 8, and that equals 2. So we start off by simplifying each side, moving variables to one side, undoing adding and subtracting, and then undoing multiplying and dividing. Let's walk through a full example to see how this works. 3 times the quantity x plus 3 equals 6x minus 6. We've got to first use the distributive property. 3 times x plus 3 times 3. And this side's already simplified, so we'll leave that one alone. That gives us 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 3 is 9. So that equals 6x minus 6. Now we need to move our variables to one side. We do this by moving our smaller one, so we can subtract 3x from each side. That will be gone now, and we get 9 equals 6x minus 3x, which is 3x minus 6. Now we undo any adding or subtracting. We've got a minus 6 here, so we add 6 to each side. That gives us 9 plus 6, which is 15, is equal to 3x. And now our final step is to undo our multiplying or dividing. We undo multiplying by dividing, divide both sides by 3, and we end up with x equals 15 divided by 3, which is 5, and we've solved our equation. Now this works the same with inequalities. For example, this problem would be exactly the same, even if I had an inequality sign. It would just stay the same all the way throughout. I would use the same process to solve the problem. Unless, and this is the big unless, you multiply or divide by a negative, in which case you must reverse or flip the sign. For example, if my last step looked like this, negative 4x is less than 8, and I divided both sides by negative 4. I would end up with x is greater than, that's where I flip my sign. So I would end up with x is greater than 8 divided by negative 4, which is negative 2. So that's the only trick here. You solve inequalities and equations the same way, unless you multiply or divide by a negative, in which case you must flip the sign. So remember, simplify each side first by using the distributive property and combining like terms, move variables to one side, undo adding and subtracting, and then undo multiplying and dividing. So great job, good luck with your homework, and if you need more help with pre-algebra, you can sign up for Nutshell Math, and I hope to see you there.